Let me just start off by saying that if you're a grown beardy man, you should not be having lightsaber duels out in public. Nobody needs to see you throw out your back while swinging plastic lightsabers. It's honestly incredibly embarrassing for all Star Wars fans across the galaxy. I feel like lightsaber duels should end for adults when they start growing actual beards. Just saying, okay? On a side note, stop pretending to use the Force to open automatic sliding doors, okay? That's been done. It was cool like 20 years ago. You're a grown man. Just go about your business. Stop making Star Wars fans look like absolute buffoons, okay? Anyways, all jokes aside, let's get straight into today's video. I actually wanted to cover a number of different lines, a number of different topics here. I'm going to try to condense it as much as I possibly can, but these are honestly very interesting to me. Not that I collect all of these or that I plan on collecting them, but it's always cool to just kind of keep track of some of these lines. And then occasionally I will dabble with, manufacturers that I'm not too familiar with. And today's a perfect example of that. Let's not waste any more saliva or time. Let's get straight into this Harley Quinn and Joker Mad Love animated 2-pack. I think these are both essentially just repaint. I think we've received both versions of these characters. I'm going to assume there's like slight differences here, maybe some extra hands or some extra accessories or a different head sculpt, but for the most part, as I mentioned, these are just kind of like a second opportunity for people that may not have these in their display. I love the Harley Quinn. I've said it before, we don't get enough female characters from McFarlane, although I will say I would love to see a new Harley Quinn for the DC Multiverse line. We haven't seen that in quite some time, and I would love to see more Jokers. I know it's kind of crazy because we have received, I don't know, like at least close to 20 to 30 different Jokers from the DC Multiverse line. However, I don't think it's as consistent, or I should say recently we haven't really seen that many Joker action figures. It is worth mentioning that this particular 2-pack does feel a little bit light when it comes down to accessories. You're getting 6 hands total for each individual character, and then a staff for Harley Quinn. That's it. No alternate head sculpts, no intricate, cool, small accessories for either one of these characters to hold. I think it was a really big missed opportunity. Not to mention, this more or less feels like a 2-pack for people that are already really deep into this animated series from McFarlane, because they're just assuming that you have a ton of extra accessories from previous releases. But yeah, usually when it's like a single pack of these back in the day, you could pick them up for about $25. I think the new price point is about $30 per each individual animated action figure, but they usually come with a plethora of different accessories, stuff for them to hold, weapons, extra hands, things of that nature. Here it feels, I don't know, a little bit condensed. The only good thing that I see about this 2-pack is the price point. You're paying about $25 each, so $50 for both, which doesn't seem that outrageous. I think every single manufacturer does have this 2-pack at $50, whether it's Amazon, Entertainment Earth, or Big Bad Toy Store. I'm not sure if there's going to be an extra charge when it comes down to Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, but you can actually pick it up on Amazon for the flat rate of $50, obviously with free shipping, regardless of whether you have Amazon Prime or not. So overall, I think it's a good solid deal. They're iconic characters in iconic color tones, and yes, I think the way that they're sculpted in action figure form is pretty close to their live action representations. But if I'm being completely upfront with this particular set, I think there are other versions of each individual character that I think are better releases than this. This is just essentially a repaint, maybe some different hands here or there, and you're essentially getting the same figure, where in their single releases, you usually got like way more accessories, and it just felt like better value, I suppose. But yes, you can purchase this now for $50, and it is set to ship out early in December, so right around the holiday time. Now, I also wanted to give you guys just a quick little heads up on a couple of different pre-orders. Both of them are for the X-Men 97 animated series. We have the Storm with Wolverine 2-pack, and then we have that Rogue and Gambit 2-pack. That one's supposed to be based on a little sequence where they're playing basketball outside. Now, as I mentioned prior, both of these had been previously announced. They're now just being made available for pre-order, and as much as I like the idea of the Rogue and Gambit 2-pack, I think it wasn't properly executed. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. That mid-torso hinge or that mid-torso articulation just looks absolutely horrendous Rogue actually looks pretty nice. She comes with a couple of extra hands, and Gambit I think comes with like 5 hands total, and then an extra basketball with that actually comes attached to the hand. And I think a lot of people have mentioned that this is like one of those starting lineup NBA body molds. They're just retooling it for Gambit, which kind of makes sense because Hasbro does have the license for that starting lineup action figure line. But honestly, it kind of brought a tiny little tear to my eye because that line appears to be dead. I'm a huge NBA guy, and so just seeing an NBA starting like body mold or a bug, it just makes me extremely sad. But regardless, if you guys are interested in it, you guys can now pre-order it. It runs $50 and it should be shipping around the same time frame as the Joker and the Harley Quinn 2-pack, around like December, so right around that holiday season. When it comes down to the Storm and Wolverine 2-pack, that one will also retail at $50. However, the release date for that particular 2-pack is in November, so a little bit earlier. Wolverine will come with an extra head sculpt as well as, well, 2 hands total. You'll either have the just fisted hands without the claws sticking out, and then one with the claws actually out. Storm will come with an extra head sculpt. It will also come with a couple of extra hands that have lightning effect pieces coming out of the fingertips, and then even more accessory or lightning accessory pieces that can be utilized for the figure. So that's definitely probably the more coveted 2-pack of the 2 that I just mentioned. But the X-Men 97 series is getting a ton of love at the moment. It seems like every time there's a Hasbro live stream, there are at least a few of these X-Men 97 action figures being announced, and I kind of like it. I mean, I will say a lot of these X-Men 97 figures are a little bit simplistic. There's not a ton of sculpted detail, and sometimes there's like absolutely no paint. It's just the color of the plastic, which I think is a little bit frustrating for a lot of fans, but it is accurate to the source material. In most cases, most of the sequences or most of the still images for the X-Men 97 series didn't have a lot of shading. There wasn't a lot of intricate lines for the most part. It was just kind of like a very simplistic color palette, and so I understand why the Marvel Legends appear to be a little bit simplistic, but still they're really well designed action figures. And as I mentioned prior, I'm happy that they're getting a ton of love, even though personally I haven't been jumping too much into the X-Men 97 series. But for those people that are huge X-Men fans, you can never have enough of these characters. But there you guys have it. I'm not going to ramble. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I just wanted to showcase some action figures that were just recently announced for pre-order, and then other figures that had already been announced. We already had seen some images, but now we get to see all of the accessories that come with the figures. We get to see the retail price point and the actual pre-order window, whereas in like before, we just got a couple of images here and there, and we knew they were coming, but we didn't know exactly what was included with each figure, and we didn't know, you know, the pre-order window or the release window as well. So as always, if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to stay tuned. We upload pretty consistently on a daily basis. Actually, let me know if you guys plan on picking up any of these. Which are you the most excited about? I rarely mix and match when it comes down to action figure lines, but in today's video, we did a little bit of Hasbro, we did a little bit of McFarlane. I felt like the news cycle is a little bit slow at the moment. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that SDCC just happened and they showcased all of their best collectibles during that time frame during summer. Once, you know, summer starts to wind down and we start heading into the holiday season, the news tends to slow down a little bit, and I think that's what we're starting to see here. So I had to get a little bit creative. As you guys can tell, a lot of our content was a little bit off the wall, a little bit like out of the ordinary, but it was just because the news cycle was extremely slow. I'm assuming that within the next couple of months, it's going to start picking up a little bit here. And yes, I know you guys are absolutely tired of hearing me say that McFarlane is about to lose a license, but I think that is going to play a huge major role. He's going to start ramping up production and just trying to bombard us with as much DC collectibles as he possibly can within the next few months. So definitely strap yourselves in, because we are in for quite a bit of a finish. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Make sure to enjoy the hobby, and I will see you guys in the next one.